Colleen during the Sync conference in Bali recently. And you will, as you hear her, you will want to maybe ask questions. It's pretty interactive. And given that this is a webinar format, we request if you really want to put something, please put it in the Q&A. Thanks for filling in your polls as they're coming in. 50% so far of people here are entrepreneurs, 25% senior executives, 25% consultants, and 25% of the crowd is raising money. Always a good time to build that confidence and skill. But I think it's interesting to see that what stops you from telling your story is not knowing what story to tell. Most people think that's the biggest blocker, so to speak. So great. Without further ado, I will hand over to Colleen, who, like I said, I've had the privilege of attending a workshop with, and she will take it away. She's done this so many times and is extremely inspirational to hear and learn from. Thank you, Colleen.
So beautiful. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me here. I love doing storytelling and training public speaking. So by you coming here, you're actually supporting me to do what I love. So thank you. Thank you for joining. One of the key elements of my teachings it's about being interactive. So we all come here, we're very busy. We have tons of things that we need to do on our plate, but we're here because this matters to us. There's a reason why we have shown up for storytelling and public speaking, because we know that it makes a difference in our lives and in our business. It impacts our success, the money that we make, how we make connections, partnerships, how we enroll people into doing business with us. It's all over our lives, and we can tell a story well and speak well. So my invitation to you for today is to get on the court today. So while you're here, go ahead and start thinking about your own story and thinking about how you might write it. Instead of just taking in information, actually go to work. So find yourself a piece of paper and a pen so that you can write down notes and you can start thinking about your own story. And it's really great to hear who's here in the room with us, that, you know, we have mostly entrepreneurs, and a lot of you are raising money. And storytelling is so key with raising money. Pooja was just talking to me about this, how she's in conversations, backdoor conversations with investors, and I have been there as well, where they're evaluating the entrepreneur and if they should invest into the business. And one of the things that we hear is like, well, you know, they just didn't seem passionate. I didn't get it. Like, why are they doing this? So why are they doing this? The investor needs to know, as well as the partner and the customer needs to know that you have a passion for this. This is your calling. It's not just something that you stumbled upon or you want to make a big money off of. It's, you know, making money is a part of this for sure. It's what, you know, you're being successful if you're making money. If people are buying your product, that's a key to let people know that you know that you're being successful. So money is very important in making sure that you're making sales. But if it's the only thing, it falls flat. And most of us nowadays, we do something because we want it. We want to do it. We're called to do it, especially entrepreneurs, because we know the road it takes. It takes like such a big road to become an entrepreneur and actually create the success that we want as an entrepreneur. So you're going to want to do something that you love, that really lights you up and has you get out of bed with excitement. But unless you share that story, it's hidden from people's view. Because most of the time what we talk about in business are the facts and the figures, the things to do, what's not working, what is working, which is necessary. But when you leave out storytelling, you leave out a very key part of communication. And that communication is that storytelling communication is what opens hearts and minds. It has people see new points of view, and it has people take action. They feel that you're relatable. They understand their role in the business, if it's investors or if it's the customer, and they feel like they are, you know, that you see them and you understand them. So it's kind of like bringing that tight-knit community together instead of just talking about the facts and figures. Okay, so let me get into the presentation. I can share my screen here. just because it's always sometimes easier to present, to have some visuals as I talk. Okay, so today's session is command attention and raise more money and build leadership through storytelling. Let me just, oh, wait a minute, that didn't work. Hold on. I wanted to see if I can see I want to make sure that I can see the question and answer. Oh, I can. Because throughout this, like I said, throughout this is going to be interactive. So feel free to put anything, any comments, any questions in the Q&A. And as we go, and feel free to do that at any time, and I'll just keep on checking on it. And I might ask you to put some stuff in there to see if you'd be willing to share. Okay, so we want to command attention, raise money, and build leadership through storytelling. Let me just tell you about me, just so that you know who is leading this. So I'm walking into the fancy office in downtown San Francisco of the global advertising agency I work with. And as I weave through the cubicles, I find my corner office. Now I'm wearing a headset, and this is the time before anyone else had a headset, because I'm in business development and I'm the person who's bringing in the big bucks for the advertising agency. I put my bag down and I sit on my chair and I place my feet on the desk. And I look outside the window at the cityscape. And I check in with myself. Yeah, this is fun. I love working with big companies like Google, Microsoft, New Line Cinema, Coca-Cola, Nike. But I'm not fulfilled. And I had to get real with myself that this wasn't the pathway for my life. And that led me on a lot of different ways of understanding where should I go and what should I do. I became a leadership development coach. I coached and trained people in emotional intelligence for entrepreneurs. I launched an entrepreneurship incubator in Bali. And all this led me to where I am today and fulfilling on what my actual purpose is. And it took a long time to get here. And so for me, what I've learned about this is that every step of the way got me closer to where I want to be and gave me the expertise in order to be the greatness that I am today in helping people become high impact leaders and using leadership development, emotional intelligence, and public speaking to do that. So for yourself on your own path, know that every step of the way is an honorable step, and it's getting you to where you want to be. So I am Colleen Schell. I am the founder of FabX, the Fabulous and Extraordinary Stories of Life. And I am committed to creating high impact leaders through the power of leadership development, emotional intelligence, and public speaking. So that's me. And again, like I told you, this is what I love to do. This is my passion. I can see that this triad, when you apply this to somebody who is wanting to become an high impact leader, they shine and they feel fulfilled and satisfied. You know, they're getting the money, the results, the success, which is wonderful. And that's the external results that you're getting. But the internal results that they're getting outweighs all of that. Because again, they're tapping into this greatness that's inside of them that has been hidden. So today, I want you to feel that greatness. I want you to start to experience your own story, your own journey, how you got here, what you had to do to get here, how you thought about it, how you used intuition, all that great stuff so that you can understand yourself, communicate that well to others, and enroll and engage people to work with you, whether that's raising money, whether it's closing clients, and getting customers, enrolling partners, whatever that looks like. Just use storytelling to do that. So we talked a little bit about this, of why storytelling, but I'll say a little bit more about it. Storytelling, our brains are wired for storytelling. And what I mean by that is when someone starts telling a story, our brains get hooked in. So it's a lot of times when we're listening to facts and figures, our brain doesn't get hooked in. We're thinking about our grocery list or where we have to go, you know, the next meeting or what we want to say. But when someone tells a story, it hooks us right in. And maybe you felt hooked in when I was telling my story, my background story of where I came from. So I use story to tell you where I came from instead of just rattling off. Because I could have said, I'm Colleen Schell. I used to work at a global advertising agency. I worked with clients like Microsoft, New Line Cinema, Nike, Coca-Cola. I could have said it that way, but instead I wrapped it into a story so that you can be hooked in. So this is why we want storytelling. And then of course, storytelling also gives us a chance to be vulnerable and authentic. It humanizes us. Facts and figures are not human. They're very cold. Storytelling is warm. It's inviting. It humanizes us, and people understand, oh, they're human just like me. And maybe there's some relatability. Maybe some of you have had that experience where you're doing all this great stuff and it's really fun. That's what I was doing. It was really fun. But at the end of the day, I wasn't fulfilled. It wasn't for me. Business development for advertising agency wasn't for me, but it looked good. I had a corner office. Everyone thought I was doing great, traveling the world. So I had to get real with myself, and that's relatable. It's like, oh yeah, when I'm on the wrong path, I have to be real with myself and what's going to happen. And maybe you're on a wrong path now and that resonates with you. But this is, and you're starting to see that I'm just a human being and grappling with this crooked road of life, just like everybody else. And it's okay. So having me tell you like everything that I did trained me up to become who I am today. And I honor all those steps. And I recognize now that it was perfect, absolutely perfect. So storytelling humanizes you. It has you create empathy, authenticity, and vulnerability. It gets people into action, and it has people pay attention because it hooks people into your brain. So today I want to go through, oh yeah, and then also just talking about the future of leadership. So specifically talking about leadership, because leadership is everything. You know, how you lead is how you do it all. So if you're not focusing on your leadership and really paying attention, how am I leading? Who am I as a leader? How am I, what are my values? How do I show up every day as a leader? If you're not doing that, it's impacting all parts of your ability to raise money, to get clients, to create partnerships, to inspire your employees. So, and the future of leadership is changing. Where it used to be ivory tower, I'm really smart, I know all the information, everything has to come through me. Now knowledge is dispersed. Everyone knows a lot of the information. The leader is not the gatekeeper of everything. And it's not about being an ivory tower, it's about being in the trenches. And so leadership is about being authentic, vulnerable, and coming from the heart. This is what people are looking for nowadays, because they want to be working, humans work with other humans, and they want to feel that. And if you talk to millennials, they'll specifically tell you this, that leadership for them is about this human to human connection, because they're not looking to make just money. They're looking for a high level experience in life that other generations did not look for. As we evolve as humans, and as we evolve with our needs and what we want, as technology gets better and as the world gets smaller, we're realizing, millennials and even all the generations are realizing, oh, it's the experience of life, how I feel about life that really matters to me. Not so much the dollars. It's not that the dollars don't matter, but it's not necessarily priority number one anymore. So this is a chance for you to step more fully into your leadership and have the courage to storytell. And it takes courage to storytell, because most people don't storytell, and it feels weird to speak in this way. But when you start doing it, then all of a sudden you have, it becomes normal to you. And then you have the superpower, this amazing superpower that you can pull out of your pocket anytime in order to create connection. It's phenomenal. I just worked with a high-level executive at a Fortune 100 company, and she was doing her first in real life meeting with her team since the pandemic. And she came to me and she said, I need to tell a story. And I agreed with her, of course. And we crafted a beautiful, touching story that was very personal, but also very inspiring, because who she had to become to deal with what she dealt with, to stay as a leader, was phenomenal. And she wrote me as soon as she got done off the stage, and she said there were tears, hugs, Everybody was so inspired by her. They begged her to keep on speaking. And it was just the power of her story. And of course, the power of her commitment to the new type of leadership. So this is what's possible. Okay, so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on some key areas of aspects of your business. And the first one we're going to talk about is this idea to create a story for raising money or to tell people about yourself. It's your origin story. Why did you choose the business that you chose? Why are you in the job that you chose, the career that you chose? It's an understanding of what led you to where you got, and then why, and then the challenges that you had and the results that you're getting. So you're going to want, this is a way of creating connection and understanding through inspiration. And again, I just want to reiterate, go ahead and get a piece of paper and a pen, because as I'm talking, it would be great for you to start thinking about your own story. Start thinking about your origin story. And as I'm going through the framework for the origin story, you might want to structure your story a little bit different, but I'm going to show you just the aspects of the origin story, and then how you structure it might be different at the end. So I'm not necessarily showing you the timeline of how the story should go, but it could go this way. Okay, again, if you have any questions, or if you need me to slow down, let me know.
Please feel free to, if you want to speak as well, put up your hand. I will put the allowed to talk to make it a bit more interactive. It seems to me like this is one of those perfect opportunities to be interactive, because this requires a little bit of discussion and thought in terms of what is the right framing for your story. So please do put up your hand or put in the chat, because we would like to address specific frameworks based on your story.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for that encouragement. So yeah, it's really important to start getting on the court with this. So I will be asking for if anyone wants to share a little bit about what they're creating or any questions. But getting on the court is what amplifies your success. Taking action, and it takes courage, but the more you practice courage, the more courage becomes easy. Okay, beautiful. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about in our origin story is just your backstory. This is what happened for you and that led you here. And it has you be relatable and gives context to the audience about who you are and what you face. It also can create authority. So my backstory was I used to work at an advertising agency, right? But I told you the story of it. You saw me in the office. You saw me walking through the cubicles to the corner office. You saw me looking over the cityscape. So that is stimulating the imagination. But I was giving you authority there. It's like, this is where I came from. So you can get the world of it. Okay, if she's working with these large companies, she's done something in her career to make sure that she can do that. Whatever that is, you can get a sense of my authority around leadership and who I am in a very short time. And of course, there's more that I could say about that, but it gives you a sense of who I am, a very broad sense of who I am because of the way that I told the story. So for yourself, just look for yourself. What happened that led you up to creating the business that you have right now, or the career that you have right now? And then I'm going to go through this and recap it at the end. So I'm just going to go through this so you see every step, and then we'll come back to it. Okay. Then the next thing that we want to see in the framework is your defining moment and decision. So something happened that changed the course of your life and send you on a new direction. So for me, what happened is I was sitting at my desk, and it was weird for me to be having all this success and looking so good and feeling so unfulfilled. But I had to be honest with myself. I had to be real that this was not working and I needed something else. And that took me into a direction of quitting my job, becoming a leadership development coach, becoming an emotional intelligence expert, coming to Bali, Indonesia, and starting an entrepreneurship incubator. It led me to all of this stuff. And for this one, there's a lot of defining moments in your life, and there's a lot of decisions you made. But for this one specifically, because you can use this for other things, but for this one specifically for today, go ahead and choose one that relates most to how you ended up creating this type of business or having this type of career. And you want to paint the picture that your audience can see in their mind using specific details. So like I said, I put you in the office, I put you through the cubicles, and we're going to talk a little bit more about what I did there as far as my language is concerned, and how you can apply different types of language in order to amplify that emotional connection. The biggest thing we want to start amplifying is that emotional connection. We are human beings, not human doings. I'm sure you've heard of that. It's the beingness of being human that has us connect with each other. You know, it's that feeling of when someone else is sad, you get sad. When someone else is happy, you get happy. You might even notice that when someone else is frustrated, you get frustrated. Nervous, nervous. So it's these mirror neurons that are in our brains that reflect back the energetics that the other person is having. And so we start to feel it in our own body. It's wild. It's wild how the body works. We're feeling the emotion of somebody else, even though we don't have that emotion. And that is empathy. So it's a natural occurrence, a human phenomenon that happens and that arises that we can start to learn, that informs us on how the person is in front of us. And then we can use that information to interact with that person in a new way. So when you are stimulating this emotional and energetic part of humans, they are becoming closer to you and more connected to you. This is what creates high level human connection. And this is, you know, this is what love is based on. You start loving someone, all of a sudden there's some energy different in your body, and they start loving you. There's different, and then all of a sudden that brings you together, that mutual love, that mutual care, the mutual happiness, mutual anger. Mutual anger can bring people together like crazy, right? You can see it all over the place. Okay, I'll keep on going. Okay, so number 3 is you want to talk about how you overcome the challenges. Once a choice is made, what automatically arises is the gap between where you are and where you want to be. And that gap is filled with challenges. And, you know, this is life. Life is challenges. If you don't want to have challenges, you're not going to be doing a good time in life, because life is all about challenges. So you've made a choice that's empowering, and what comes up with that choice automatically are challenges. So embracing the challenges and really celebrating that you had challenges, knowing that of course you're going to feel wonky and upset along the way. That's a part of it. But coming back to understanding, I chose these challenges because I chose this gap. I chose this. I was here and I want to be someplace else. In between that gap, it's going to be challenges. And then when you share those challenges, when you share how it didn't go very well, how maybe you fallen to your knees, you know, how the success path that you thought you were going to have looked a certain way and it went a totally different way. You are telling one on yourself that allows the audience to know that they're okay, because they too are dealing with challenges. They too feel shame around it, that it shouldn't be happening, that you shouldn't have challenges, it should be smooth. Well, that is not life. That is not life. We can all agree to that. Life is challenges, and celebrating those challenges is key. And if you show that ups and downs of your journey, it helps people see themselves in your story, because they've experienced those ups and downs, and it creates this authentic, honest connection. And because of this, it demonstrates how you gained your expertise, and that grows trust. And trust is very important. Trust is very important because people usually trust before they necessarily get all the information they should trust. So it's a gift that they give you that you get to honor, that they're giving you trust. But until you gain that trust, action is not going to happen. They're going to sit on it, think about it, la, la, la. So you want to gain that trust. And how you do that is usually trust is a feeling. I trust this person. I just feel like they can make it happen. I want to invest in them. I want them, you know, I want to be a client of theirs. I can just feel it, this trust. It's just this intuition, this gut instinct. Storytelling actually amplifies that. Now, just because you're telling a story doesn't mean that you're going to close business with everybody, right? It's those people who relate to your story and you that get attracted to you. And that's another really great thing, because all that waste, you don't want everybody. You want your perfect investor. You want your perfect client. You want those types of people that are on the path with you, not everybody. You don't want everybody, because that's a lot of waste. You know, in advertising and marketing, we have a lot of waste. If you're looking to do, you know, executive coaching and you're just doing Instagram, you're doing a lot of waste. But if you do on LinkedIn, you're lessening the waste of your activities, your energy, your money. So we want to think about, okay, how do I not waste any time with people that are not a good fit for me? Well, one of the things, I tell my story, and if they're attracted to me, that's a good sign that they're a good fit for me. And then if they have trust in me, that's another good sign. Okay, fourth thing is the results. So now you've overcome the challenges and there's more success, and you want to celebrate the success. You want to say what you got and where you are now. It's the transformation, and it creates that emotional, compelling story. And you want to paint this scene vividly so people can see the results that you've gotten. And again, so you want it, instead of just rattling off results, you want to put people in the story. So for example, it might look like this. I'm sitting in front of the executive team of BMW. They've asked me to pitch for their Olympic game advertising and promotion initiative. I stand up and I share with the CEO, with BMW keys in my hand, this to an executive is like the gold medal to an Olympic athlete. I had strategy, story, compelling views. And at the end of it, I swear the BMW CEO almost stood up and gave me a standing ovation. So that's the story of the success. That's the story of a success that I had and the results that I got. And that's a story about how I learned storytelling. So I was pitching business in a very specific way. I was showing data. I was, saying all this, stuff. Here's your target market, la, la, la. Here's what the results you're going to get. Here's how we're going to do it, the plan, the implementations, even the strategy. But it wasn't until I learned storytelling when business started to close like magic. So we won that business with BMW for their Olympic marketing and promotion because of the story. And I started using stories again and again and again in my pitch in order to win. So I could have just told you that, like I use stories, but instead I put you in the scene. I painted that scene for you so that people can really understand and put themselves in. And this creates imagination. When you stimulate imagination, again, you hook people. And it feels like it's happening to them. So information doesn't transform. Information doesn't change people's minds, but experience does. And storytelling is the best way to get them mapped back to an actual experience because they see themselves in the stories. And this is what has them start taking action and seeing you in a different light. Okay, so just to recap. So here are the four aspects of this origin story: the backstory, defining moment, the challenge, and the result. Okay, perfect. See that we have a chat. That's where it's going to ask you, do you have any question? Oh yeah, great. Information doesn't change people's minds. Experience does.
So
yes.
I just wanted to ask if anybody had an experience that they think they would want to put in a story. I think a lot of the examples you gave were very powerful. And one of the ways to frame it is also make your mess your story. Is that okay? Your experiences that you've had. That only when you share how you've been able to overcome this hurdle, it not only gives you a story to tell, but it gives you a lesson to share so that other people can adapt. So I've enabled. We've had some new people join in a bit late, and just to fill them in. Colleen has given a framework on how you build your origin story. We did a poll. I'll just read the update of the poll. We still have about 50% of the crowd who are entrepreneurs. I would say 30% are fundraising and still not knowing what story to tell is the biggest hurdle for not being able to do this and use it in business. So there you go. This is pretty much the solution. Not knowing what story to tell should be the backstory, which is made up of a defining moment in your life. Let's say you call it an aha moment that made you leap forward and make a difference, overcome a hurdle, and how you did it, what the challenge was, and the fact that it was that it gave you a positive result. I hope I summed that up adequately. So I think at this point, would anybody like to share your? I have given you permission to talk, so please do. Go ahead, raise your hand, or given that you have permission, you can just unmute yourself and talk. Nobody?
Yeah, so if anyone has any questions, go ahead. Great. Did I hear somebody?
I think Jess has unmuted.
Okay, great. Hi, Jess. Can I see people?
No. Okay, maybe not. I guess this crowd is a little bit shy, but
yeah, no worries.
It's fine.
Yeah, it takes some time. It takes some time to get the courage to share, but maybe people don't know. So maybe a question is, if you have started to identify the story that you might be able to tell, if you would just put a 1 in the Q&A and just let me know, or just say yes. Is there anybody who has already started to identify, like, oh, I see this. Oh, yeah, I could tell this story. Let me know. And the more you interact, the more you're going to get out of this. Yes. Okay, great. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you so much. Sorry, I say sweetheart and stuff like that because I'm from the South in America. So great. So thank you for that. Oh, hold on. Beautiful. I'm so glad to hear that. Anybody else? Anyone else? A yes or a 1 in the chat or in the Q&A? Just let me know. And then as we're going through this, you can let me know as well. And again, if there's any aha moments that you have, or if you want to, share a story. So I'm here, for me to show up and to coach you. I'm not cheap. It's like, if you're gonna find me and want me to put me as a coach, it's $600 an hour, or a package that's in the thousands. But you have a chance here to use me. So you can use me right now for free, because Wizly is such an amazing platform and really wanting to expand what's possible around collaboration and bringing professionals together with people who need the support, because you can't do it alone. You can't do it alone, nor would you want to. So Wizly is here to really support that. And I love their mission. I love what they're up to, and the fact that they're giving access to this kind of mentor group that you get to have in order to deal with your own challenges. So that's what I'm here for, to be used. So use me up if you have questions or want me to coach you and coach your story.
Okay, Ash and Somang have raised their hand.
Oh, beautiful.
So you guys can talk. Ash, I've given you permission to talk. Hey, the floor is yours.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can.
Fantastic. Thank you guys for having us. And something that I wanted to ask was, I am currently, I'm about to start a seed round with Antler. And a big thing that I've been learning is obviously storytelling and basically that when you pitch, it's not about, like you were saying, it's not about like numbers or how the features of your company, but like really creating that personal connection and getting to know the investor and vice versa. In regards to founder origin story, like I do have the aha moment, but when it comes to like making that relationship, like how far should I go back in my story? Like, should I tell him like, or him or her, like, where I grew up, what I did growing up. I'm only 22 years old, so like I don't have a lot of stories.
Yeah.
And I, like most people raising with me are like, in 30s and 40s. I'm like, you guys have, all these experiences. I left school to like pursue this. That's like a super cliche thing. But like obviously like had my own experiences as an immigrant. So like, how does that play in creating that connection?
Beautiful. So Ash, don't so the leaving school to do what you do, it feels like it could feel, I understand it feels like a cliche. And when I work with leaders to find their wisdom, they usually come up with something that's very similar to what other people have said, but your story with that quote unquote cliche, it's not, with that powerful statement is what gives you authority to say that powerful statement. So yeah, if you're just like, oh yeah, I left school to do this because I'm really passionate about it, that's one thing. But if you put me in a scene, like I'm sitting, I'm sitting in the fraternity hall and all my brothers are drinking beer and talking about women. I'm on my computer coding and I can't stop. And I look around me and I realize, is this who I want to be around? Is this what's really going to have me be successful? I'm not interested in this. I closed my computer and I walked away and I stepped into my own life where I say I get to dictate what happens. And now I have started this company, whatever that is. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah, it does.
So if you put me in a scene, what's a scene? If you can put me in any scene where you started questioning your school, like, do I need to do this or not? Where would you find yourself?
Well, I would find myself either in class or in the library, not focusing on what I'm supposed to be doing, focusing on this, this idea, this problem that I'm focused on. And really like a big reason I also left school is that I was kind of past what I was learning. I self-taught a lot of, I went to school for computer science.
Mm-hmm.
So like I found a lot of the stuff I was learning to be boring.
Yeah.
Um, I was often just helping others with their work or trying to learn my own thing. And so like, when I came across this problem, it kind of just took over every like thought in my the time.
Yeah.
And like I didn't know what, like I didn't know why I was paying to be there anymore. So I just, I called my brother up and told him about this idea. And like we discussed it like over, a span of like 2 weeks, and I just decided to drop out then and there and pursue it
So
with my
great.
brother.
And with your brother.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So that's a beautiful story. And you just want to make sure that you're telling the story of it, but that's a beautiful story. And in the next slides, I'm going to teach you some aspects to amplify the emotion of the story. And I'll just start talking about them now, Ash, since that I'm with you on this. You want to start in the action and use an active voice. So you notice I say, I'm sitting in the library. I'm sitting in the library and I'm on my computer. I'm not focusing on school. I just find it to be boring. I learned everything I need online. And so I'm focusing on this problem and I just cannot stop thinking about this problem that I want to solve. And every energy goes into it. Finally, I get the courage to call my brother. Do you want to do this with me? Do I dare drop out of school? 2 weeks later, he said a resounding yes and yes. And that started our path to solving the problem for blah, 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 whatever that is. So how does that feel?
That maybe like I don't tell stories that way. Like I don't
No,
Yeah,
I
so
guess
then you'll have to work a bit more closely with Colleen
Yeah.
to craft it to your taste.
Yeah.
So Colleen, at this point, we've also got Somang who
Yeah.
raised his hand.
Great.
Do you want me to take his question now, or do you want to go
Yeah,
through
it's serious questions because coaching, when I live coach people, that's when most people get the aha moments for themselves. And Pooja, I don't have my phone. I lost my phone yesterday and I don't know where the clock is. So you're going to have to help me
Yeah,
with time.
it's 10:45. So
Okay, perfect. Okay, great. So let's take this one sharing and then I'll add the other flavor to the storytelling and then we can take some questions at the end. So, okay, who's next? Thank you,
Somang,
Ash. That's great. Really beautiful.
Somang,
You got
Thank you.
I have unmuted you, so you can go ahead and speak up.
Yeah. Hi, Pooja, and hi, Colleen. So thanks again, Colleen. My question is actually regarding, I guess, authenticity and like vulnerability and the danger of oversharing, especially when you're fundraising. You want to sound, confident about your business and things like that. And I think that when I'm getting to my most authentic, I tend to share, like my concerns, as well. And it kind of comes through a little bit. Not when I'm pitching necessarily, but when I'm answering questions, because I have gotten to a profoundly kind of personal and candid space with my audience. So I just wanted to hear your thoughts on, how you sort of should balance between, being completely authentic and candid, and at the same time, having some boundaries and not, not oversharing.
Yeah, so great, really great question. And it is true, we don't want to overshare because when you overshare, it blows the audience out and they don't know what to do with it. And so, and they kind of, their logical mind is shut down and some people call it like a deer in headlights type of feeling. And so you want to make sure that you're building that trust along the way. And you yourself, so that's one thing. So making sure that you're not sharing. So the executive at the Fortune 100 company that I just coached to tell a story, told a story about the fact that she lost her newborn son last year and how that impacted her leadership. And now, of course, that's a very tender story. And you could really blow someone out because of the tragedy and the heartbreak. And also someone else might have lost a child, which would actually could be triggering. So we had to craft it in such a way where we were able to deliver the information so people can handle it. And we were able to do that, which is beautiful. And it really touched and moved people. So that's one thing. Then the other thing is this idea of sharing concerns. Just as much, so concerns are mapped back to challenges, yes? So challenges are a part of the deal. You open up a business, you become an entrepreneur, you're saying, I want challenges. This is what I want. And investors know that. They know that the biggest thing they need to do is that you feel confident in dealing with those challenges. And if you feel confident dealing with those challenges, they can be like, okay, yeah, I get that there's this challenge and concern, but I feel like they'll be able to figure that out. So for yourself, when you're sharing concerns, and sharing concerns also does add a little a relatedness to the conversation and a humanness to the conversation. In fact, when you don't share challenges, investors are like, I don't know, it doesn't feel right. Like they feel like they have, like if you're overconfident, which is usually an overcompensation because you're scared of the challenges, they'll feel that. So for yourself, you're welcome to share a challenge, but if you're going to share a challenge, make sure you have a pathway that you're going to experiment with to overcome that challenge. So right now we have a challenge where we don't, we only have enough budget for hiring X amount of people. We want to scale to X amount this year. And we understand in order to do that, we're going to add more people. But I'm talking to people like you in order to get investment so that I can hire the right people to get us onto that path. That kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. I hope that was helpful. Okay, perfect. All right, so we're going to move on just so that we also get this. Oh, wrong way. Sorry. We also get this this way of hooking your audience. So this is a part of the FabX storytelling formula. The FabX storytelling formula is a very specific formula that I created from my experience in storytelling, comedy, improv, pitching, a lot of different areas that I've kind of put it all together in order to create this framework and this formula that wins over any audience at any time. Now, the formula itself is 13 points that you can put in, but I'm just going to tell you these 3 points that you can now put to your origin story that will amplify your origin story and really bring the audience close to you and have that connection. And we talked a little bit about active versus passive voice. A lot of times when we talk about stories, it's like once upon a time, this and this happened. I want to switch this and have you talk about like it's happening right now, because that has the imagination of the other person click in. So I'll give you an example from me. One time I was at this Sting concert and he actually asked if there's anyone who wants to come up and sing with him on stage. And he picked me and I got to sing with Sting. Okay, so that's using passive voice. And here's me using active voice. I'm sitting in the front row of the Sting concert. He comes to the edge of the stage and asks, who wants to come sing with me? I raise my hand and he points directly at me. I make my way through the crowd and on to the stage. Can you feel the difference? You can, can't you? So in the first thing, you got the information, but in the second one, you vividly saw me there. You saw me in the front row. You saw Sting coming to the edge of the stage. You saw me raise my hand, walking through the crowd onto the stage. So that's stimulating that imagination. And that helps them be connected to you and focused on you and paying attention to you. Another thing we want to do is start in the action. So with Ash, to use you as an example, there's a lot of things we could have done. We could have said about, you're saying like, oh, should I talk about where I grew up, where I'm from? Like, no, because it's too long and it's not relevant right now. They might ask you that and then you can answer it. But what's relevant is right in the action. I'm in the library. I'm supposed to be doing work. I'm wasting my parents or my money, and I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Instead, I'm just obsessed with this problem. So you're right there. We didn't talk about like where you grew up, why you went to school. I chose Stanford over Yale, whatever that is, blah, 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 blah. You're right in the action. You're in the library, feeling the pain of, I'm wasting all this money and I don't even want to be here. And then as you're telling the story, you also want to feel the emotion. So for those of you who were with me at the very beginning, when I told you my origin story, a part of it, I didn't say the whole thing, but I told you a part of my origin story. I'm walking through the office and it seems so exciting. And I get to my corner office and I put my feet on the desk and I look over the landscape and I feel empty. Though it's fun to work with Google, New Line Cinema, all these companies, I'm not fulfilled. So you can feel me drop into that energy of I'm not fulfilled. And it was like, at first, I'm like, it seems really fun. I'm in the corner office, walking through, but then you feel that drop and that has their mirror neurons activate and gives them an emotional roller coaster. And again, has people towards you. Okay, so I think for today, I'm going to stop there because we're probably almost at time and answer some questions. Any more questions or any guidance that you want? You can go ahead and raise your hand or put it in the chat. Pooja, do you see anybody?
No, we've the two that are there, they've already spoken. I'm just checking. Anybody else would like to ask or even share based on the framework that Colleen, you saw the way she can on the spot transform your story and tell you how to add an injection of emotion and passion into it. So if anybody would like to share and take a stab at that, that would be great.
Okay, we'll give a couple minutes, just a couple seconds, just to see if anyone shows up. And if not, so I'm going to keep on talking. And then, Pooja, how much more time do I have?
About 5 minutes.
Okay, great. So I'm going to keep on talking. If anyone wants to raise their hand, well, also what I will do already is I will put, that's something we just didn't get to. Okay, so I will put my email. If you have any other questions or want to work with me, know that storytelling is your path to creating more success and fulfillment. Please reach out. I am committed to birthing the new entrepreneurs onto the stage using their story and also having the success. So this is what I'm up to. I'm here to support you so that you become that high influence leader. And once you do, you get the benefits of the high influence leader. You know, again, not just all the success and the influence that you have, all of a sudden you're being invited to the bigger conversations, you're creating bigger partnerships, you're having more thriving in your life, but you're feeling the greatness inside. And that is what's possible with becoming a high impact leader. So if you're interested in that, reach out. Or if you just have some questions and want some clarifications, I am available for that. Should I have them talk to me on Wizly for that?
Yes, so I was just going to say, we will be sending all of you guys the details, a little cheat sheet from Colleen after this, as well as the direct connection that you can get on the platform with her. So with a little code. So you will get that from us tomorrow. And I just, so I guess for now, oh wait, we have something. Yeah, there are. We've got a response saying that you're going to need a private session. I think that's one of the benefits of this, because this definitely gave you an overview, but as you saw, this is something that you need to work pretty closely and on a personalized level to really hone it down and make it relevant to your business, as well as the phase you're currently in, and what the objective is of trying to share stories this way on a public stage. And I just want to end by inviting all of you to join Wizly. Maria, can we have the last slide up, please? It's wizly.app. Oh, wait. Yeah, you'll have to stop sharing.
Yeah.
And please do follow us, because we have an amazing global network of leading professionals such as Colleen all over the world that are part of Wizly. They are here to give you live learning. I would urge you to explore, a lot of you here are 50%, they said, are entrepreneurs, to explore our Q&A platform, our open community platform, for you to get insights that are coming up in real time by our experts. These are questions that the market is asking. It also gives you a quick overview of the kind of problems global community can help you solve. So follow us, and you will hear from us tomorrow to continue this conversation. And we'd really like you to join our community where we are helping people build, grow, and learn. So thank you so much once again. And Colleen, thank you for joining us from Bali. And we will see you all soon, I'm sure.
So beautiful. Thank you so much. And thank you for everyone for showing up. You know, as you can see, not everybody's here. So just really acknowledge the commitment you are for yourself and your life and the business that you're growing by empowering yourself with this superpower of storytelling. So give yourself a little piece of chocolate, or maybe a coffee, or giving someone a high five to acknowledge yourself for showing up for your life. It's extraordinary.
Awesome.
Everybody.
Thanks, Colleen.
Thank you,
Bye,
honey.
everyone.
Bye.